Welcome everybody to today's product training. We're going to go over ageLOC Vitality, and we have a very special guest speaker, Tanner Gibb. He is the Senior Communications Manager over at Pharmanex for Global Communication. He's one of our favorite communicators there, one of our most requested presenter at our healthcare forum. And so, Tanner, I'm going to turn the remainder of the time over to you to tell us about this incredible product called ageLOC Vitality.
Yeah, thank you for that. Happy to talk about ageLOC Vitality today. I've been with the company for 10 years, involved in a lot of the technical aspects of our products, and so very well versed in what we do and what we're all about here at Pharmanex. One of our competitive advantages is our research and development engine, and I have the opportunity to work with our top scientists that we have in areas of nutrition and chemistry and biochemistry and pharmacology and pharmacognosy, and the list goes on, to be able to create these incredible products. And so one of them today that we'll talk about is ageLOC Vitality, and we truly believe that it's a true revolution in anti-aging. And the reason for that is one of the main signs of aging is a lack of energy or fatigue. Even sometimes before wrinkles and other visible signs of aging, our genes inside of our body, their expression or activity patterns are changing, and that can have a very dramatic impact on how we feel and the vitality and vibrancy of our lives. And that youthful vitality seems to go away rather quickly. And so what we've done, and our approach here at Pharmanex, is not just to target the signs and the symptoms of aging, in this case of energy production in the body. We're all about targeting the ultimate sources of aging. And maybe a good example of that is if you were to go to the marketplace and buy a product that was helping with energy, oftentimes it's going to be spiked with a whole bunch of sugar and carbohydrates, or with caffeine or other stimulants. And while these do provide a temporary boost of energy, well, then comes the crash. And so what we wanted to do is be able to target the sources of energy and the mitochondria and what's going on inside of the cells of the body, to be able to create a product that supports healthy, increased baseline energy levels without the crash. So let's talk about the importance of cellular energy with this product called ageLOC Vitality. So what is it, you might be asking? Well, at its core, in very simple terms, cell energy is all about converting the carbohydrates and fat and protein that we consume in our diet into a usable form of energy that we call ATP. And this is done in the mitochondria of our cells. So we have mitochondria in just about every cell of the body, every true cell in the body for that matter. And mitochondria are found abundantly in the brain, in the heart, and in the muscle. And there's no surprise there. These are very active tissues. When you're active and you're moving, these are tissues and parts of the body that need that kind of energy. Although it shouldn't be dismissed that we have mitochondria and many other cells and tissues throughout the body. And so it really is kind of a systemic approach to be able to support the powerhouse of our cells to be able to produce energy a little bit more efficiently. We don't need a study to show this, but because of the audience, it's important to note that as we get older, we lose our ability to actually make ATP. So our mitochondrial function declines, not only in terms of number, so the number of mitochondria decline, but the efficiency in which our mitochondria can actually produce ATP declines as well with aging. And so because of that, the science does show that we lose energy as we get older. And so what can we do about it? Well, we formulated this product called ageLOC Vitality with three core steps. And the first is identify the patterns of gene expression that are involved in energy production in the body. And then we screened the best anti-aging nutrients and selected the ones that had the strongest impact on resetting gene expression to a more youthful level as it relates to the structure and the function of our mitochondria. So how do we measure gene expression, you might be asking? Well, we have these gene chips, and we use Affymetrix. They allow us to take a picture, so to speak, or a snapshot of gene expression of the 20,000+ genes that we have in our cells. And this will give us a very large heat map of all the different genes, okay? And of these 20,000+ genes that we have in the body, there's really only about 3,000 to 5,000, depending on the tissue being studied, that are changing with aging. And so out of all these, we create this smaller heat map of these target genes that we really want to go after. And so in this case, as it applies to ageLOC Vitality, we wanted to see out of all these 20,000 genes, what are the hundreds or dozens of genes that are really impacting the structure and the function of our mitochondria. And so that's what we did, is we identified gene expression patterns, and that begins with using these gene chips that have been collecting a lot of this data that we put into this database. LifeGen is actually a company that we purchased back in 2011. They're a biotech company that's been doing work in anti-aging for many, many years, and genetics for many, many years as well. And that's why this acquisition of LifeGen was the perfect marriage to what Nu Skin offers, is our ability to study nutrients with their ability to give us this genetic database where we can go into this and we can see, what are the genes that are involved in cellular energy. And you can see here, we can test it in different models. We can look at, different time points along aging. And so in a younger model, you can see that as it relates to cellular energy, there's a certain gene expression pattern, right? Green is going to represent low compared to baseline, and red is going to represent high gene expression compared to baseline. And what's important here is not so much that some go up and some go down. What's important is that these are the genes that are different or being differentially expressed in the aging process. And so when you compare the old gene expression to the young gene expression, you can see that there is a very dramatic change or shift. And so these are the genes that we really wanted to go after and to target in our ageLOC Vitality product. This is actually a heat map of 52 different genes. So step 2, once we know the gene expression patterns that are changing or shifting with aging as it relates to energy, then what we do is we do many studies. There's actually dozens and dozens and dozens of some of the best anti-aging nutrients that we've been able to screen and test to see what are these nutrients. What is it? Is it the blueberry or the tart cherry or the citrus or the red orange or the pomegranate or the CS4? What are the best ingredients for being able to change or shift gene expression in a more positive way that we can put inside of our products? And so that's what we've done. We've done, all of these studies and, put this into this ageLOC box, if you will. And from this box of ingredients, what we can do is then put the ones that make the most sense for the product that we're creating, okay? In this case is ageLOC Vitality. We were able to select a Cordyceps sinensis CS4, a Panax ginseng root extract, and then a pomegranate fruit extract. One thing I want to point out here is that these aren't typical ingredients that you can just get anywhere in the marketplace, or if you do, they may be very different in their biological activity, in their actives, and in their benefits that they have in the body. We originally, when we acquired the Cordyceps sinensis CS4 from our vendor, we got exclusive rights to this ingredient, because the CS4, when you talk about Cordyceps sinensis, there's over 200 different strains, but the CS4 is the one that takes a particular fungi from the original Cordyceps and ferments it and isolates it to be able to create the CS4 product. But the CS4 product is the most well studied of all of the different types that exist in the marketplace. So it's the one that's studied for a lot of the benefits in terms of, liver and lung and kidney, vitality and stamina and energy, of course, and other areas as well. But because it's the most well studied, that's the one that we wanted, and we screened to be able to select and put inside of our product. The Panax ginseng, there's a lot of different ginseng products in the marketplace, but I can tell you, so there are certain actives in ginseng that we call ginsenosides, that provide different biological activity, and each one's a little bit unique. Our extraction process is a combination of the root and the root hairs, so getting the right part of the plant in this case, to be able to provide that nice energy boost without the stimulating effect that comes with typical ginsengs if they're not extracted in the same way that ours is. The pomegranate, it's going to be a whole fruit extract here, so it's not just any pomegranate crushed up, put inside of a product. It is standardized to certain actives that provide the energy benefits that we're looking for. And so this combination of a very unique CS4, Panax ginseng, and pomegranate creates this ageLOC Vitality product. The result of this is that I already showed you we had the young gene expression and the old gene expression. Well, what's powerful is that when we test these nutrients in ageLOC Vitality, you can see that it's really reversing or resetting this gene expression to almost match the young gene expression pattern. And the only difference here is that this is the same old group, right? But the old group is given these ageLOC ingredients, and these ingredients alone, without any other changes, are able to reflect a more youthful gene expression pattern as it relates to cellular energy. And so this is how we're able to target aging at its source as it relates to fatigue and energy loss as we get older. And this is part of the reason why people take the product and they just feel better. they have better energy and better stamina and better mental acuity as well, which I'll get to in a bit. And while these gene expression changes are incredible on their own, we also do some other functional tests or preclinical and clinical studies to make sure that what's happening at a cellular level is able to be translated into actual functional benefits that people can actually feel and see the difference in their own lives. And so today I want to talk to you about a few of those studies, which is actually another differentiator of this company, is the clinical work that we do and the studies that we do, both in-house and through partnering with other universities and researchers around the world to be able to study our products and see what kind of difference they can make. And so we'll talk about the physical endurance and the muscle glycogen sparing, the metabolism enhancing benefits of the product, and then lastly, a human study where we saw some improvements in cognitive function. So first of all, this formulation improves physical endurance, okay? This is a study where only after about 5 weeks, you could see a dramatic 63% improvement in endurance. This to me is significant for two reasons. One, because of the dramatic increase where you compare the control to the blend and comparing it to week 0 and week 5, it's a very dramatic increase in vitality and stamina. But number two, it's important to mention here that it does take time to see results and to see changes in vitality and stamina with this product. Some people, they go to the marketplace and they take something expecting an immediate boost in energy, and you're not going to get that with this product. It's not spiked with stimulants or a bunch of sugar and a bunch of caffeine. It's a very natural way of increasing that baseline energy level to be able to support that physical endurance. And so it does take time. When you look at the research on CS4, it's usually about 4 to 6 weeks to see some of those benefits, although for other people it can actually take longer. The pomegranate and the ginseng tend to act a little bit quicker in terms of its vitality and energy benefits. Muscle glycogen sparing. So we knew that there was an improvement in endurance, but we wanted to know more about the mechanism of action. And muscle glycogen, for those of you that know, this is a storage form of energy in our muscle that's used up when when we hit the wall. That's when this is all used up. Okay, so this is a storage form that's not used readily until we start using some of these other more available energy sources, and then we run out. And so this here is showing that compared to the non-exercise control, with exercise alone, it's actually using up quite a bit more of that muscle glycogen. And so that means that this group with exercise and not receiving the ageLOC blend are closer to fatigued, right? They're closer to hitting the wall. They're closer to giving up because they don't have as much of that storage form of energy. But when you combine exercise with the ageLOC blend, you can see that there's a minus 21% compared to baseline, meaning that it's able to preserve a lot more of that muscle glycogen, meaning that it does make sense that this is a mechanism that supports better endurance and better stamina that people see when they take this product. In a different human study that was conducted, and this is published, you'll see that we were looking at what's called the respiratory exchange ratio. So this is actually a measure of carbohydrate to fat burn inside the body. And so after 6 weeks of taking the product, you can see that there actually is a significant decrease in terms of the RER. And this is actually a good sign because when the lower it goes, it means more fat that's being used. So more fat is being oxidized and used as a source of energy instead of glucose and glycogen, which is more of the storage forms that are used for immediate and more long-term energy and vitality benefits. And so once again, I want to point out this is a 6-week study. It does take time to see that difference. And this is important as well because athletes that are striving, to improve, their body, and this isn't just a product for athletes. I should point out, this is a product that was designed really for, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. It's formulated for just your average Joe, average person on the street, who's, who's suffering, who doesn't have the energy they once had. It's not a product intended, for these high-end athletes to see this immediate boost, but even regular people can also see that boost. They notice their benefits in their metabolism. They notice benefits in their stamina levels that they have throughout the day. I've talked to many people who just, who told me that, they breathe heavily when they have to go up and down the stairs. And after taking a product like ageLOC Vitality for several weeks, they don't even notice it anymore, right? They don't notice that, wow, I'm not breathing as heavy. There's something with my metabolism. There's something with my energy that's happening. And these are a lot of the mechanisms that support a lot of the testimonials that we receive around the world from this product. And then number 4 this is a separate human pilot clinical study that we did, where we wanted to look at improved cognitive function. And the reason for this, you often don't associate cognition with energy and vitality in mitochondria, but you really do have a lot of mitochondria in the brain, and it really is an engine in the body that is using a lot of energy. It's highly active in order to process and initiate all the things that it does. And so in this particular pilot study, we had a null and a gold standard. The gold standard is kind of indicative of what a youthful cognitive score is going to be. And then over the course of the graph on the bottom, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 12, that actually doesn't represent weeks. That represents the number of tests that were taken. And so each time that you take a test, it's not the exact same test, but they're testing the same criteria to get the score in terms of reaction time and short-term memory and working memory, et cetera. You can see that there are improvements over time. But even the null and the placebo, they didn't quite reach that gold standard. But with a vitality product, even in an older population, they actually superseded, what the gold standard in terms of cognitive function represents in this study. And so this makes a lot of sense to me, as there's a lot of mitochondria in the brain, and it's a decline in number, and function is a reality. And that's actually also linked with things like memory loss and poor decision making and pattern recognition, and some of the functions you can see listed on the slide there. So ageLOC Vitality, in summary, is a product that's not just about energy, right? We talk about how it supports these 3 dimensions of vitality, and the first to do so, physical vigor, which is all about that energy and vitality and stamina benefit, the mental acuity, which we just covered, which is about, thinking and reacting and executive function and those kind of benefits in that regard. A lot of people mentioned that the cloud in their brain has disappeared after taking this product. It's not a scientific term, but just there's a lot of clutter that happens, and people are able to just process things and think of things a little bit more efficiently after taking the product. And then sexual health, of course. This is mostly related to some of the benefits in terms of circulatory health and energy production as that relates to sexual health in the body. This is a product that targets aging at its source. I want to reiterate that point. It's not about signs and symptoms of aging. This is really the first and only of its kind to be able to target, the sources of aging in a comprehensive way that we did. And it's not just about one magic gene that supports mitochondria. There's this whole group and pattern of gene expression that are involved in the structure and function of the mitochondria, and in different tissues throughout the body as well. So there's no one magic gene and one magic tissue. It's a very complete and comprehensive way to be able to target energy at its source. This is a product that helps people to feel better, to feel younger, they feel renewed, and they feel recharged. It promotes youthful gene expression, as we talked about. And this point here is important as well. It raises and sustains baseline energy levels. So this is something where people take the product and they just feel better. It's not an immediate change. It happens over time, but that sudden and steady and sustained increase in energy levels is really what makes this one of the best-selling products, not only in the American region, but also throughout the globe. And then 90% of consumers felt positive changes in fatigue levels when taking the product. In other words, they felt better, they felt more energy. And this is important too, because we want to make sure that it's not just working for just 1 or 2 people out there, that it's working for the vast majority. And this is a consumer survey that we did after giving the product to a number of different individuals who were trying the product for the first time. So with that, that's all I have on ageLOC Vitality.
Thank you so much, Tanner. And this is a product that I take every single day along with LifePak and ageLOC Youth. And we've definitely noticed a difference, especially with 3 little children in the house keeping us up all night. And we've noticed that haven't had that fatigue, whether it's mental or physical energy. And we've just really enjoyed that. So thanks for helping bring this product to market and educating us about it. Mm-hmm. All right. So as Tanner takes a breather here, we're going to move on to ageLOC Youth. I anticipate this a little bit longer, Tanner.
So we'll see. Let me go grab a drink of water really quick. I slurped the last of my water last time, so just bear with me 1 minute.
Go for that. So while Tanner's doing that, LifePak is a product that I started taking 15 years ago when I first started with Pharmanex, and My score went from 31,000 on the biophotonic scanner. My highest score since taking LifePak Nano and Youth and Vitality has been 90,000, but I routinely score in the 80s. Not only have I seen improvement in my score, but we've noticed better health. My wife's has noticed improvements with our allergies dramatically. I've had a vast reduction in my migraines over the last several years as well. And when you look at some of the things that these products are doing, targeting inflammation, reducing oxidative stress, it makes sense why people are having such a vast amount of improvements in how their body is functioning and their overall health.